Hello and welcome students to Learn Piano Now with Daniel Joyner. I hope you're looking forward to learning something new today because I am looking forward to teaching you. Well, have you ever wondered how to play in different keys but weren't sure how to do it without the proper guidance? Well, you're in luck because today's lesson is on how to play chord progressions in different keys. So make sure you watch all the way to the end for the bonus, the musical joke of the day. Now, in the last video, we learned the 7 white key major scales. The C scale, D scale, E scale, F scale, G scale, A scale, the B scale, and the C scale. So if you haven't seen the last video entitled How to Play in Different Keys Part 1, you want to make sure you review that before you go on. So you can watch that video now. Okay, today we're going to focus, however, on transposing chord progressions. Now, I used a musical term there, transpose. All that means is to take a musical idea or a piece of music and play that exact thing in a different key. So if you watch all the way through today's video, you're going to understand the process of how to transpose your chord progressions to other keys. Let's quickly review. The first progression we have in the key of C is 1, 5, 6, 4, which goes like this. C is the 1, G is the 5, A minor is the 6, and F is the 4 chord. 1, 5, 6, 4. We can stick the root notes in the left hand, and then the next step in the process would be to put those chords in the closest inversions possible, which would be 1, 5, 6, 4. And then the next progression is 6, 4, 1, 5 in key of C. So we're going to go with the 6 chord, the 4 chord, the 1 chord, and the 5 chord. So 6, 4, 1, 5. And then we put that in the closest inversions possible. So that becomes A minor, and we go to this inversion of the F and of the 4, and then we go to this inversion of the 1, and then this inversion of the 5. Okay? So 6, 4, 1, 5. So if you haven't seen the video on how to play chord progressions and how to play chord progressions smoothly using the closest inversions, you can do so now. Okay, now the next step is to actually take those two progressions and transpose them or put them in another key. We're going to pick G for today's illustration. So the first step, step 1, is practice the scale of the key you want to transpose to. So G scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. You can go back down to if you want. Step 2 in transposition is, or transposing, is practice the diatonic triads in that key. So we're going to play our diatonic triads in the key of G. Notice we have an F sharp at the top of this scale. So every time we have a chord that has an F in it in the diatonic chords or diatonic triads, we have to make that F become an F sharp just to match the G scale. So here's our 1 chord, GBD, that's G major triad. We go over to our 2 chord, A minor triad, ACE. We go to our 3 chord and we have an F on top. So we got to make that an F sharp to fit the G scale. That's the 3 chord, B minor, B, D, F sharp. The 4 chord, C major, C, E, G. The 5 chord, D, F sharp, A. So we have to have that F sharp in the middle. That's D major triad. The 6 chord is E, G, B, E minor triad. The 7 chord has to start on the 7th note of the scale. That's the F sharp. So we can finger it this way, or we can finger it this way, 1, 2, 4. So that's F sharp diminished triad, going back to 1. So again, 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord, and the 1. Now, the next step in the process is going to be finding our chord progression. So that is going to look like this. So you find the 1, then you go up to your 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You play the 5 chord, that's D major. You find the 6 chord, which is E minor, and then you go down and find your 4 chord, which is your C major triad. So 1, 5, 6, 4. Okay, then you play the root notes in the bass. 1, you can play down here. 1, 5, 6, 4. So that was our third step in the process. Again, find the scale, practice the diatonic triads, then find your chords in the chord progression. Step 4, okay, step 4 is to actually put them in the closest inversions possible. So now we go G major. What's the closest inversion of the 5 chord? Well, the 5 chord notes are D, F sharp, A. So do we have any of those notes in common with this one? Yes, the D is common between the 2 chords. So we keep that right where it is, and we take the other notes down to find our missing notes in the D chord. F sharp, A, D. So F sharp, A, D, that's the first inversion. Root position, first inversion. That's the first inversion of the D triad. Now we're going to go find our closest inversion of the 6th chord. So we either, on this one, the 6th chord is going to be E, G, B. That's E minor. So we got to either move up or down. So from here we have no common notes. So we have to move down or we have to move up. Okay? So either one is okay. So for now I'm going to move up because I like this same position and fingering up here. We move up a step. So that's the first inversion of the E minor. G, B, E, right? And then, do we have any common notes between this one and the 4 chord? I think we do, which is going to be G and E. So we move the middle note, change it to find our 4 chord, which is our C chord. That's second inversion C. So we have root position 1, first inversion 5, first inversion 6, and second inversion 4. So we just transposed the entire chord progression into another key. Now let's do our second progression for the day, which is 6, 4, 1, 5. Okay, now let's repeat the same process. So we already practiced our diatonic chords. Our triads in that key, we already know those, but let's find the chord progression. So 6, 4, 1, 5. I'm going to count up here, which is the 6. That's E minor. But I'm going to play that an octave down for the sake of range. I'm going to play it in the middle of the keyboard like this. So E, G, B, that's the 6th chord, right? And then, so we can put our left hand root note in the bass. And then, are there any common notes between this and the 4? Yes. So we said there are the E and the G is in common, so we move the top note up. So we move the top note up, so we go from here to here, to first inversion C chord, E, G, C. And then, do we have any common notes between this and our 1 chord? Yes, we do. The 1 chord is G, B, D, so we have our G in common. So we keep the G, and we move this one down to the D and this one down to the B. So we just find our missing notes on the top and the bottom. And then do we have any common notes between this and the D chord, our 5 chord? Yes, we do. The 5 chord is D, F sharp, A, so we have D in common, so we keep D right where it is, and we move our other notes down to get the F sharp and the A. So again, 6 chord, first root position, 4 chord, first inversion, 1 chord, second inversion, and then 5 chord, root position. And so the next step you could do is actually apply other patterns and ideas that we've discussed in other videos to this. For example, let's say if you wanted to add a little pizzazz to your chord progression, you could do rock ballad pattern 1, or or rock ballad pattern number 2 to break it up, or rock ballad pattern 3, which is our arpeggio. So you could put different patterns with these chord progressions, and if you haven't seen the video on how to play in different styles, you can watch that now. So that's how to play in a variety of different styles, and you can apply that to your chord progressions in these different keys. So we just did 2 progressions and we transposed them to G today, so I hope that was beneficial in walking you through the process. Now I want you to walk through the process in the other white keys that we've practiced scales for, like D and E and F and A and B. So that's for homework. So you watched all the way through the end of the video, and now you get to hear the musical joke of the day. So, what happens when you play Beethoven backwards? He decomposes! So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to receive weekly piano lesson videos on various topics. And goodbye for now. Have a great day, guys.